Okay, so the things that I added to the file and how I added like the VNC in general. So first of all, as opposed to like the first videos, in order to add need VNC, I needed to add meta-OE layer. Okay, so that's exactly like what I did. And the if we look at this layer, so let's look at mm, other layers, meta-openembedded. We need to go to graphics, meta-OE, that's the layer, and recipes graphics, and we look for need VNC. So let's look at this. So there is like the package config construct, okay? So package config, and it tells us, hey, if there is a package config append or whatever to X, in this case TLS, then these are things that you're going to be adding. So this is optional, and we can select all the package config to one, for example, add examples and so on and so forth, okay? And then in this particular case, actually, it's a very good example. If package config contains example, then it's also going to go ahead and copy that is install like the examples like in Beam. So that's like a nice example here for the usage of package config. So we use package config, and just I can tell you that when you install this, you also need to add PAM in your features. PAM is a pluggable authentication module. It can be very, very, very annoying for all kinds of things like logging in, but I will not get into it in this video. And the reason I'm mentioning it is that, sorry, let's go to maybe here. Let's go to Yocto Poke Build Master Conf. The reason I'm mentioning it is that in local.conf, the only differences that I added to the default Yocto were this. I wanted to add to the package config VNC and RDP to the package config in Weston. We put like the package name. I think I put a video in it, but I'm not sure. And we wanted to add what I just showed you, which is the package name, the package config in neatvnc. Now, to the installation itself, we did need to also add image install append Weston because it's already there in core image Weston. But to the installation itself, what we have here is we add like a neatvnc. Now, since we include the recipe of neatvnc, then whatever we showed with the package config where we add a TLS is used. So this is what I have shown. Maybe I showed it also before. And PAM needs more than just like a building like libraries. It's like a distro feature. It needs to populate all kind of things in Etsy. So it needs all this. I do think that I covered like the Western map, but if I did not, let's go ahead and see where that is. So if we go, this will actually be in Poke itself. So we'll go to meta recipes Wayland Western and oops Wayland, and we'll look at like Weston 14.0 BB. We'll also see like the package config here. So look what we have here. Like this is for building Weston. If we have like backend DRM or backend RDP, or DRM is like for actually showing you like on DRM itself, like on the screen that you have. RDP to allow remote desktop. And there are other like defines that it has, and like somewhere there should also be VNC. So let's there it is, VNC, debug and VNC true and so on. So this one requires also libpam. So this also gives like a hint on the things that we need. And on the installation, it's going to check, hey, do we want to use this or that and so on. For example, if you use systemd, then it will also include Weston systemd related files. So these are the things that we have here, okay? I'm not going to explain. Explain just allows you to use equivalent over X, but it's easy. I covered it in a previous video. So there are other features that you can learn from, and it's relatively easy. These are like the different package configs that if nobody specifies anything, this would be like the default. So the default would be, okay, if we have Wayland, then we want to use like the KMS, kernel mode settings, which implies also DRM and so on and so forth, as we see here. So these are the things that we have here. We have the different shells. I think I talked about it in Meetup 17 and definitely in the addendum. And this is how things are. And this is why in our, sorry, this is why in our local conf file, we added all these nice payloads, okay? So in Weston, we added VNC and RDP to the package config. In it, we added to the image installed meta-VNC, and we added PAM. Otherwise, Yocto will complain and like the build will not work without PAMs. But I just saved you from that. And we also added TLS for the meta-VNC because it was like one of the errors that needed to be solved. So this is everything that we added to like the Yocto project, the layer, this one, what I showed now, and the layers that we started with meta-qcom and we added meta-oe. One last thing, the machine that we selected, as I explained in another video for like the temp deploy where I took it from there, was QCOM ARM v8a, which is a generic one that works. So I think this should serve you well in case I forgot to include it in other things. And now we can proceed to the configuration on the target.